achievers, those who are doing well and have done well for themselves in different industries, entertainment, even industries sa law, sa mga law firms, sa CPA, accounting firms. And today is no different because we have a very artistic, very talented KAbabayan. And he's quite cute as well. Miguel Syjuco, hello and welcome to KAbabayan.
Now putting me on the spot.
Yes, I need to make you smile. How are you?
I'm good.
Let us talk about your book, Ilustrado. This is your first novel.
It is.
Tell me about it. What is it about?
It starts off as a murder mystery. It's the death of Crispin Salvador, who's the great lion of Philippine letters, found dead in the Hudson River in New York City. He had been living in exile, trying to make it as a writer for many years. And so suicide is ruled the reason for his death, but his young student, Miguel, finds that suspicious.
Okay.
Because missing from Crispin's apartment is a manuscript that was supposed to expose the corruption behind the ruling elite families in the Philippines.
Okay.
So Miguel returns to the Philippines to investigate, and he discovers a country in absolute turmoil. Politicians are jockeying for power.
Right.
Religious leaders are trying to become kingmakers. A storm is brewing. Elections are imminent. And Miguel discovers that the story is as much his, and concerning his own relationship with the Philippines and what it means to be Filipino, as it is the story of his dead mentor, Crispin.
You know what? This sounds very interesting. Where did you get the idea na magsulat ka ng something like this? Parang medyo heavy siya, no?
Well, medyo. I mean, the way I've written it is a series of fragments, so I've recreated all of much of the works, excerpts from Crispin Salvador's works. So I have short story excerpts, memoir, blog entries, news
even
segments.
email correspondence.
Email,
yes.
dirty jokes.
Yes,
I've got dirty jokes for those Filipinos who need that. And I just thought that this is the way we perceive our reality of what it means to be Filipino. We get our perception of our current reality through so many different sources, text messages, TV, internet, books, newspapers. So I thought this was a good way to write the book.
And for someone like you who grew up in the Philippines, went to Cebu for college, for high school, and then went to Ateneo for college, but then went to Columbia University. At the time, you were also going to Australia for your PhD, is that correct?
After my master's, because I couldn't get published.
Right.
It's very hard for a Filipino to get published here in North America. We don't get published often enough, even though we've got great stories.
Right.
So I kept studying. I kept saying, well, if no one wants to publish me, then I have to learn more.
Right, right.
And so that's why I kept going to school.
And because of that, you were open to the different ideas of being Filipino, what it is to be Filipino, not just a Filipino living in the Philippines, because that is always a topic here on the show, sometimes a point of contention. Filipinos in the Philippines who come here are considered Filipino immigrants, and we have a very different view of the Philippines, of our heritage, as compared to Filipinos that were born here or born elsewhere around the world. Do you have that also in the book? Did you encounter that at all in your research?
Talaga. Totally. I feel that the Filipino experience is a global one, and it always has been. We always have every generation coming and going, living abroad, dealing with this guilt or anxiety about whether or not we should go home and then returning and whatnot. So I deal with that, all of those issues very much in the book, because it's very important to me. It's something that I'm going through as a Filipino author abroad. So I examine that, but I also examine a lot of the reasons why Filipino artists don't get as much exposure as we'd like.
Why do you think that is? Even in your own personal experience, why do you think that is, and what do we need to do?
Well, it's a double-sided coin. On one hand, we're such great chameleons, we Filipinos, so we're able to adapt anywhere we are. But on the other hand, because of that, we sometimes lose ourselves. So we try to follow the Amy Tan sort of writers, the Asian Americans, or the magical realism of the Latin Americans, when we forget that we Filipinos have our own way of telling stories.
Who are your, I must say, models in terms of Filipino authors?
Well, I've had the great fortune of studying under NVM Gonzalez, a great Filipino national artist. Jessica Hagedorn was one of my professors.
Jessica Hagedorn is amazing, yeah.
She is.
She was a professor of yours?
She was.
Wow.
Marian Villanueva, who's based out of San Francisco.
How about Carlos Bulosan?
Of course. I grew up with Carlos Bulosan, Bienvenido Santos. Santos,
Right.
Nick Joaquin.
So you, in a way, you've been mentored by a lot of these great Filipino writers as well.
Yes.
With this book, what do you want people to take from it?
Well, I'd like them to take a little bit of pride about who we are. I mean, the book is a critical view of the Philippine society. But of course, we criticize because we love the country so much and we don't understand why all these issues are there. And I hope that not just Filipinos, but the rest of the world will be able to see that, these are the reasons why we're going through so much trouble. I'm fortunate the book is being published in 18 countries.
Right.
And translated into 13 languages.
Congratulations to you. There is definitely pride in this. It has won an award as well, right?
Yes, the Man Asian Literary Prize, which is based out of Hong Kong, which
Very
is there
prestigious.
I'm lucky.
Yeah. No, you're not lucky. You're good.
But Filipino authors have also done very well on the short list. Every year there are at least one or two finalists for this prize. So we're really out there. And I'm hoping that, the Filipinos will look at this book and see something that they can relate to, but at the same time get behind. Because, there are 4 million Filipinos living in the States.
In the States, yeah.
And if only 10%
4 million,
of them,
really?
we're the second largest Asian American minority. And if only 10% got behind our artists and our writers and our comedians.
Oh, can you imagine how powerful we will be? Yes.
Exactly.
But Miguel, where is this available? I know we were flashing your website earlier on the screen. You have a reading tonight. I
do. I'm reading at the LA Public Library at 7 p.m. With the wonderful writer Cecilia Mangara-Brainard, the Filipino author. The book is available at your major bookshops and minor ones, Independence, Barnes & Noble, Amazon. You can order it, mail order on Philippine Expressions.
All right. Sounds good.
It's available everywhere. I hope people will support it.
Well, congratulations once again and more power to you. We'll look forward to your next novel.
Thank you.
We will be back for more on KAbabayan LA. Don't go away.
Ang KAbabayan LA ay hatid sa inyo ng McDonald's at ng bagong McCafe Espresso Drinks. McDonald's na ba ang inyong bagong coffee house? Ang mga bagong McCafe Espresso Drinks ay mabilis, masarap at mas mura pa kahit saan, kahit kailan.